Hello there and welcome to the Glow Up Method. This is the place where we talk all things personal growth, self-empowerment, self-improvement, personal development, whatever you want to call it, all in this goal and pursuit of living a life that makes us proud. Hi, my name is Natasha and I'm so honored and lucky to be your host today. Oh my goodness, so the Glow Up Method. What is the Glow Up Method? Like I said in my intro here, it is all about pursuing a life that makes you proud. It is about making a decision that not that you're living a life that doesn't make you proud right now, but you're just kind of living. Like that's how I was. I was living. I was doing everything in which I thought was right or I should be doing or somebody else wanted me to do. And what ended up happening is I felt really miserable in my life. Like, yes, I was so happy for someone else. I was so happy seeing them live their dreams or pursue their passions or, helping them bridge the gap between being ill and getting well. I did receive like myself personal joys from that, but it just always felt like something was missing. I felt like something was off. I felt like I was the shell of a human. I was living this existence in which I was just living for somebody else and, relinquishing my own personal joy and my own personal, goals and pursuits. It ended up leaving me feeling like I wasn't like a real person. I just was this, like, again, like I said, like a shell of a human. I didn't have necessarily a purpose other than helping to facilitate somebody else's purpose. And that's fine. And that's great. It was wonderful taking care of others. And it still is. It just got to the point where it wasn't enough. And I couldn't pinpoint why I felt so drained, so tired, so exhausted, so meaningless in some ways. And I know I had value, right? Like I know my kids' health wouldn't have received the care it would have without me. Like I know I had definitely played a role in people's bigger schemes of life, helping Chris with the business and helping others learn the business and employees and volunteering. Like I know I did very, very beautiful things to contribute to the community. And that's great. And those things I still love and find passion and ease in doing. But the piece that was missing was taking care of me. The piece that was missing was honoring what was going on in myself. And I had buried that person. I had buried the true Natasha, like my inner child, my inner self, so deep. Like I buried it within, like I've talked about here before. I had this, like analogy, this metaphor. I don't know what they're called exactly, where, this actually happened in real life where I would barricade myself in my closet when we lived in Oregon for 1 year. I would, barricade myself in there. And then I believe I also did it in the next houses I lived in. But I have a vivid memory of the closet in there, and I have a vivid memory of the closet in which I spent a good chunk of my childhood in. And those two closets, like I vividly remember, and I remember like barricading the door shut with things, and I remember barricading the closet door shut, and then even within the closet door, I remember barricading the self, and then even like covering my mouth and squeezing my eyes tight as if I couldn't be seen. And that's almost how I explain what I did to my inner child. Like I didn't want her to see, I didn't want her to hear, I didn't want her to speak, have any sound, any voice. It almost made surrendering easier. I didn't feel the pain or the disappointment of not living a life for me, living a life that made me proud. And it didn't mean I was living a life that I was not proud of, right? Like I'm really proud of how I was able to use my resources and my brain and my tenacity and all those things to help other people. Like I'm really proud of that. It's not that I was living unprideful. It wasn't like everything was of shame. No, I just wasn't specifically doing things that made me feel proud, that brought me joy. It was more about the community, whether that be my family, my friends, the community as a whole, my people I live in the same cities with or the same state or world with, right? So this journey had brought me to a place, along the line, and everything happened in small doses, and every lesson was learned when I was ready to receive it. Yes, there are times that I wanted this timeline to be expedited, and man, what I would do if I had all this knowledge and information at the age of like 8, right? Like my life would be completely different because I would be so far advanced, but that's not what it was. It's not how it was. I am exactly where I am at this exact time, doing the things, utilizing the experiences to not only learn from, to share that knowledge with, and then to grow into this version and continue to grow each day. As I said yesterday, yeah, I got some weird, doctor's thing. And then even today I went to an eye doctor because even though I have good vision, I'm a woman of a certain age, and there's a time or two when I was like, ooh, I think I'm getting ready for those readers, right? So I'm still honored to say I have my 20/15 vision. Very cool. However, and again, like I say, I wish I could give my eyes to my kids. Like, how is somebody with 20/15 vision over here have one kid with 20/15 vision and another with 20/100 and probably everything in between? Maybe it's even worse. I don't even know what that 20/100 kid is, really. But I think that's what it is. Or maybe my daughter is, somebody is. But I mean, the other 3 like really can't see at all. And so without their corrections. So I say anyways, but what like today was a reminder going to the eye doctor was all of a sudden there was something with the nerve, and there was the potential for perhaps having glaucoma, or I just didn't know. I'm getting a message, but I can't really answer. Let me see here. I'm going to go quickly here. I hate interruptions. I'm going to just do this. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to quickly respond. Mine. And that is a wrap. Okay, my apologies. But anyways, life is lifing. There's so many, I feel like a lot of times that I am this like woman in a china shop, or not china shop, like what are they called, like the women that like are on a unicycle and then they have all the plates spinning. Like some days it feels like that, and I'm trying to find the calm within it because just so many things are happening. So anyways, there was something with my eyes again, and I just stayed calm, and I was like, listen, it is what it is. Like, again, like I say, I'm really prideful and I'm really proud of the fact that I have great vision now, and I'm so appreciative of it because I know that that is not the story and the case for everyone. And I know that, there's no guarantee that tomorrow that I'm going to have it. So I'm going to really appreciate looking and seeing and remembering all the beautiful things that I can see. Anyways, that's a side mark. But on this glow up journey, so what is the glow up method all about? Yes, it's easy and it's flashy and shiny to say I've lost over 100 pounds, and that gets a lot of attention, right? Because people can see, and they can see, like, probably here, if I looked at some of my times in which I have recordings, I'm like, ooh, I was in a very slender phase, and this time I'm in a little bit more. It's been a nice, like when you start dating somebody, there's lots of restaurants, there's lots of getting cozy and hanging out. Like for me, that's what it's been all about. It's been about spending a lot of time and communicating and not necessarily getting out and doing all the things you want. But again, I went to the eye doctors today, and I thought I had everything, could see perfectly, and I knew I kind of couldn't. But that the readers might be thinking it's such a small correction. I couldn't even buy, correction for this in the store, as he says, but there's a teeny tiny bit. And if I want to see a little even more crisp, it did. But it was this reminder, right? That sometimes we think we can see everything, but yet there's a better way of looking at things, and it could be crisper, and it's fine the way we're seeing things, but it can change. So that's part of my journey here. And what I want to share with you is it doesn't mean this pursuit to live a life that you're proud doesn't mean that it's like some shameful thing and that you're not living a life that makes you proud. No, you're doing amazing and incredible things. And I think so oftentimes as women, we're expected to be these creatures that can just spin multiple things at one time, and we're really good at it. I mean, we have to be. There's no other choice. When you have 4 kids and 4 people crying and hungry, you have no choice but to be able to quickly assess the situation, make a decision, and understand ultimately 3 people are going to be irritated and frustrated by your frustration, or have to learn patience, or be the martyr and be like, no, tend to them first, even though I'm hurting more. Like, there are so many interesting dynamics that go into life, right? And so my whole point here is to remind you that you are exactly where you are today, where you're supposed to be. Don't have any shame, regret, or guilt about the things that you haven't done. And know that they have prepared you for this time of life of yours in which you are able to dedicate some time to. Now, I get it. We're all on different things. Some of us are caring for aging parents. Some of us are caring for our kids. Some of us are doing both. I know I raise my hand wholeheartedly and say I was doing that all at one time, where I had kids in high school, middle school, elementary school. I had aging parents. I call my parents, they were my godparents. They were very much like parents to me, with serious heart attack, stroke, limited mobility, cancer. Like, I'm not talking, some tiny things to contend with. No, these were big and major, and they were living in a city that's 20 to 30 minutes away without traffic. And, it didn't make it always easy. And then the doctors were even further. They were in a city about an hour away because it was about 20 to 30 minutes from their house. So, caring for other people isn't for the faint of heart. It is literally a really, really challenging thing to do. And it's really challenging to know when you need to be cared for. And for me, that care I need every day. It's not an occasional thing. Yes, it did help, like in the beginning when I would set my calendar. So this is what I did. Like, I did not know what self-care was so direly that I needed to, when I began, schedule self-care. And for me, the best way to do self-care was to disengage from my family. Because if I'm here, I have the tendency to slip back into my right-handed default setting ways. And I want to take care of them. And I want to, if I'm going to eat something, I'm going to get something for them to eat. And I'm going to walk past the dishes and remind them to do dishes. And I just didn't want to. Self-care for me was like literally having a few minutes where I wasn't mom. And I know that kind of sounds bad because that was everything I was. That was my entire identity. Hi, my name is Natasha. I'm Bradley, Karina, Dylan, Tyler's mom. That is my intro. I'm not a person. I'm not anything. I am their mom. I'm really proud of that. And I know some of the kids love some of the things I do, and I know they cannot stand some of the things I do. And that's part of it, right? Like, be better than me then. When you have the opportunity to be a parent, know I'm doing the best I can with the tools I had at that time. And so I say all this to say I began going away. So I began going to the beach. For me, that was far enough away. And it was also loud enough and beautiful enough to take me out of my thoughts. And those moments when I started to feel guilty for not being at home, I could sit back and almost get drowned out by the loud sound of the crushing sea and the air blowing through the wind blowing through my hair. And the way the sun hit, or sometimes it was the fog and the cold, bundled under a blanket. But having that experience gave me the permission. It told me it was okay that, yes, my kids are going to lose a sock, or my kids may be late to a practice, or maybe they're not eating the most nutritious meals, but guess what? Life is okay. And it taught me that it was okay to leave. It taught me that it was better than okay to leave. Like, it taught me what it meant when they say that on the plane, to put on your own face mask first. I really did not understand this concept prior to that. I really thought a good mom would sacrifice the world for their kids. And then I would, like I said, when my kids have had heart problems, brain problems, eye problems, I have been like, can you take my eyes, my heart, my brain, take it all. Take my knees, what do you need? Take it. Similar to that story, The Giving Tree. Love that book by Shel Silverstein. It is a beautiful book for me that I can connect with because it's so true. I oftentimes in my relationships felt like the giving tree, and I wanted to give and give and give and give. And I asked for nothing and received. When I would get tired or exhausted or particularly PMSy, I would freak out in a sense, because I was like, suddenly I needed care. I needed compassion, and no one was there. And partially because a few things, right? Number one, I never asked for it. I just assumed that people would know that I'm PMSing and I need extra help right now. Number two, I did not teach these people to treat me that way. It is our responsibility to teach people. And if we aren't doing it consciously, we are doing it unconsciously. Teaching people how to treat others and how to be treated ourselves. by our actions and our responses. We kind of, will always play with a boundary and push a line and see what it is we need in order to, survive this relationship. And I feel like I never ever made myself a priority to my family until I did. And so that's the beauty of this glow up method, is it's a journey from the inside out. And you don't have to know exactly where to begin. Maybe you aren't struggling with your weight. Maybe you aren't struggling within your relationships, but maybe you are in your career or in your own personal development. Like, we are all in different places and all on different roads, but similar journeys and paths. And those take a lot of different paths. And we hit different obstacles and different crossroads and different experiences at different times. But one thing I know for sure to be true is the fact that you're even curiously saying that there is something different and there is something more for me out here. Like, bravo, like, congratulate yourself. That is a step. That is 1% better than yesterday. So if that means tomorrow that you make the decision to say, you know what, I really do want to really lean in and discover who it is I am and what I want, if you don't already know. And know that, like, I know for me, a lot of times, like, I would get stuck in the process. I would get stuck in being like, well, I need to know the end. I didn't want to write in my book because I didn't know the title. I didn't know how to publish. I didn't know who an editor was. Like, I got caught up in the semantics and it made me feel stuck and freeze. Same with the weight loss. I didn't know what would work for me. I had tried certain diets and they would work and then not work anymore, work temporarily. And what I, could see was other people and the way it was working for them, but it didn't feel right for me. And so the only way I ever found out if something would work was to try it, was to create a new system, was to fall on my face and get back up again, to be consistent, right? When I haven't done any writing, like barely any writing, because I was doing most of my writing while I was doing my steps. And then I was injured. And so I kind of got out of my habit of it. And then I also began talking here, and I felt so redundant to be talking on here and then to be writing the same thing. It was like, sometimes like, all my writing would get the passion, or sometimes this would get all my passion, and it kind of felt And so I haven't done a lot of writing right now, but I do have this platform where I can, I'm sure, transcribe a lot of this into my writing and take those things, because again, my writing became this thing where it was almost like me recording, but no one was seeing it. So I can stay consistent and do it, but if I'm not taking that leap to launch, I'm not taking that leap to do the other thing, that's great, it's fine. Everything doesn't have, it could be a hobby. It can, it doesn't have to be for profit or for sharing. It could be for my own personal journey. Like, I think figuring out what it is exactly I want to do with the writing and where it is exactly I want to go with it will help to lead me on the proper paths. But there's so much going on right now. And then there's a lot, like, mentally and personally I'm having to navigate. And that makes me like slow down in certain ways, right? Like, I sometimes tend to be laying in bed a little bit more, or I tend to be watching a show a little bit more, or I tend to be, because I'm working on this other project, which happens to be a relationship, and I'm not really good at it. I've never really been, it's never been a priority. And I really am working and practicing on being better because it's really important to me. This relationship is important to me. Being in a relationship with anybody is important to me, and understanding how to communicate is great. But the first thing is, what is it I need? What is it I'm feeling? How can I communicate something I'm not aware of? And when I was burying myself as that little girl in the closet, and when I was burying myself as an adult deep within layers of fat and food, I wasn't letting the real me be heard. I was covering her mouth and I was covering her ears and I was saying, la, 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 in a sense, and I don't want to hear it. But now I'm really in tune and I want to hear. And it doesn't mean just because I'm listening that inner voice is ready to speak. And it doesn't mean that I know the right answer. I make a decision and say, I want to be working with Chris. And it doesn't mean 6 months from now, I change my mind. It means I am where I am today. I am checking in with myself. And I am allowing myself these spaces like meditation and showers to dysregulate a little bit here, not desensitizing, but dysregulate, so I am not so sensitive in hostile environments, or I'm not so insensitive when I'm doing all these things I don't like. So here we are. I've got this golden opportunity. I've got a few extra days in which I don't usually have to, use, because I'm usually in the gym. I'm seeing this day with a different perspective. I have a different urgency. I have a different rush. I have a different focus on it. Just like when I was at the eye doctor's today, I can see things differently. And it's not that I couldn't see them good or well. It's just that there is sometimes a better way of seeing it. So I'm enjoying the fact that this morning I was able to take things more casual. I was able to sleep until my body wanted to wake up. I was able to, spend some time doing a little bit of a puzzle. And I love puzzles because, but the problem with me is like, once I get going, I want to finish it. But it's this practice of being able to say, like, from here, all this disarray, it reminds me of life. Like sometimes, things like, it just looks like there's all these things scattered, and how can they come together? And sometimes it looks like a piece would come together, but it's just not the right place. And no matter how much you force it, it just doesn't fit. And so I think the important thing to do is to get in tune with you. Begin to date you. Begin to love you. Begin to nurture you. Begin to care for you, in addition to caring for others. You are your priority. And I know, like, for somebody like me, that took like so much courage to finally believe, to finally understand, and to not have this like fear that, oh my gosh, they're going to think I'm a narcissist, or whatever these terms are on the internet, because I take care of me, I'm selfish, I'm these things. And once I began not caring what others think, as far as if you think something different than what I know to be true, I don't care. I mean, I care because I care about people, but it's not going to be the guiding force to my life, because I can do the same action within my household, and I have 4 kids, right? I can do something. And to one kid, I'm going to be a hero. I can make rigatoni and Dylan will be so overjoyed. Bradley, on the other hand, will be disgusted. He cannot stand the smell of mushrooms. He can't, just the fact that I'm cooking it just grosses him out, and, he doesn't like it. The other 2 are like, you can take it or leave it, right? Like one's edging on it. I used to like it. I don't like it. One's like, it's food. I'll eat it, So everybody comes to a situation with their own unique perspective. And at the end of the day, I'm going to make some people happy. I'm going to make some people feel great. And others, I'm going to irritate. They're going to dislike me just by the look of my hair, my purple walls, my face, whatever it is, my voice. And that's okay too. But at the end of the day, if I'm comfortable and I'm confident to say, you know what, I don't know everything. I don't even know everything about me. I need to discover, and I need to go on this journey, and it's not going to be overnight, and I'm not going to know tomorrow. I'm not going to, like this puzzle, I'm not going to start it and then be able to finish it. I am a puzzle. You are a puzzle to yourself too. And so it is your job. It is your responsibility to complete this puzzle. And it's going to be one piece at a time. You can't rush it. Yeah, maybe you get lucky and 2 pieces are connected together for you already when you open the box. But the majority of the puzzle is yours to complete. And it's slow. It doesn't happen in a rapid sense. So I really want you to work on the puzzle of you. You are a beautiful, wonderful puzzle that is going to come together one at a time. And sometimes when you look at things in a small sense, it doesn't look like you've made a lot of progress. But if you take a step back and suddenly you see how all these pieces intertwine and connect together to complete this bigger picture, you will see how magnificent every action and every piece is in your life. So continue to work on yourself. Continue to love yourself. This is the Glow Up Method. You are a puzzle. You are an enigma. And it's your responsibility and your job to discover and grow into, and know that sometimes things are one way one day, but that doesn't mean it can't change or alter in the future. So continue to work on your path, continue to share your gifts, continue to explore who it is you are in this pursuit of living a life that makes you proud. So I'm so grateful for you for tuning in today and listening to my stories as usual. And if you can please go out there today, I want you to start with giving yourself a huge smile. You deserve it. I want you to give yourself a compliment. My compliment today is I am so proud of being able to be where I am on my journey. I am so proud for exhibiting the self-control to not hurry through and finish this entire puzzle all in one sitting. And knowing that sometimes if we just step away, the piece that you're looking for is not apparent. But when you step away, you take some time away and you come back, you're like, it was right here all along. So I am loving doing this puzzle with Chris. It's a great opportunity for us to accomplish something together. I also want you to go out there today and give somebody else a big smile, give them a compliment. Today I was at the eye doctor and I was just so grateful for the doctor for being this facilitator and helping my kids to see the world a little bit more clearer. So I'm so grateful for that. So please, please, please share your gifts and watch how we all glow up together. Thank you so much. Mwah. Bye.